Wait, hello. We are team 4. Okay, team 4. And our members, we have 6 members. We have Kalarani, we have Pooba, we have Caroline Ya, we have Ong Asang, and we have Julian. My name is Joseph Wong. Okay, so I shall start first. My hobby is about traveling. Okay, basically I'm an outdoor person, and my hobbies are like travel, attend spectator sports, engage in cardio activities like jungle trekking, jogging, occasional golf, and to the gym. Okay, travel is the main theme for my hobbies, as in getting out of the house to do activities like going for an exercise, shopping and meals, and of course overseas travel. When I travel overseas, I like to explore places on foot, basically off the tourist places where locals congregate, such as eateries, cafes, and mainly frequented by locals. Their marketplace, local parks, and regular shopping streets, just to get a good feel of life there and soak it all in. So there was a time when I was in Rome with my wife as part of a European tour holiday. So we were scheduled to stay in the city for 2 nights in Rome. Okay, so after we checked in on the first night, we decided to get a bearing of the city that on our own for that night. Okay, so instead of joining the optional tour to see the night scene and plus the dinner, so what we did was that we went to the concierge and we inquired about how to go to the town. And it was only about less than 7 kilometers. So we thought about it. We felt that it's quite safe to go, having all the directions and what bus to take and all that. So worst come to worst, we thought we could just even walk that distance, right? So because it's safe, so we did that. So we quickly freshened up, we took our backpacks, and then we headed off. So we go across the street at the bus stop, and we took the next bus that come along. And when we went up, there was around 5:30, which was still bright. And then we were enjoying all the Italians who are packed in the bus. They are talking, about their Italian language, and we really immerse ourselves in. Okay, and then when we reached the depot, we disembarked together with the rest of them, and we were so excited. Okay, so after that, what we did was that when we disembarked from the bus, so we just find our bearing. We look at the streets where the people normally go, and then what we did was that we go wherever we fancy lah. Okay, like for example, we passed by some eateries and we bought some street pizzas. Their pizzas are perfect. Their pizzas are large serving, reasonable price, full of cheese, and the salami was very tasteful. And then we walked, we went to some local areas, some attractions, and the people who do shopping, some vendors, some shops, we went in, and then we spent around a couple of hours until the last bus service, which was around 9:30. So we better, get back. So what we did was that we rushed back to the bus stop and took the last bus, and we knew where we are supposed to drop off, which was quite near to the hotel after I think about 8 stops. All right. And then that was our adventure. So when we went back to the hotel, it was only around 10 something. And the group also came back around that time. So they had their experience, but we have our experience. So this is something that I really cherish. And my hobby is basically to explore on foot wherever we go. Okay. There was another occasion when I was attending a conference in Guangdong. Okay. So as you know, after the dinner, there's no other program. So people will just hang around at the lounge having their drinks. And some perhaps they organize a taxi ride to the bar or whatever. So what I did was that I organized with a few of my colleagues or friends. We decided to walk around the blocks. And it was so wonderful, when we walk around the blocks, we see that, the night market, where the crowds are, and they are very busy and all. And we tasted some of the local delicacies, and we just walked for hours, and came back about 12 something, and it was very safe, and the weather was so cool. So all in all, this was a very good experience. So as far as I'm concerned, everywhere I go, I like to go off the beaten track. Okay, and I like to backpack, and I can walk for hours. So that is my hobby. Okay, that is my hobby, and I hope to continue. God willing, I'm still healthy. I can still continue with my hobby. Okay, now I finish and I move on to my next presenter, Miss Caroline Yap.
Thank you, Joseph. Okay, I'm Caroline, and my hobby is actually totally contrast to Joseph. My hobby is reading, which is indoor. Okay, indoor. So, okay, our line of business is that we read a lot during the time that we are working, and then it is actually part and major part of our work. So you really have to enjoy the work, the read, to enjoy it. You like to read, and in order for you to enjoy the work. So off the work, actually, I also like to read easy. So I pick up this habit of reading during school time. School time, those days, teacher always force you, we force you, you have to go to library and start reading. So that's where I pick up the books and then start reading, and then I tumble upon all kinds of story. So off the work, I like to read novel, but not all kinds of novel. So I like to read crime story, investigative type, science fiction type, those story, those kind of storylines and all that. So I like this kind of story, so the suspense, and then the thrill, and then the twist of plot that the author actually be able to present and all that. So when you read, when I read, I also indulge into the story. So I will start guessing, and then going along the line, what is going to happen, who will ultimately turn out to be the culprit or the murderer. So it is very interesting that something get me off the stress, as well as my mind off the work that that I'm facing, things like that. So it's something I like. So I will read the books and then flow along. So sometimes when I come across some good book, some very interesting story, I have to hold myself, not turn to the end of the story to see where is the answer, who is the person. You are so anxious to see, but I have to hold myself in, because if you know already the answer, it is no fun to read anymore. So I have to control myself and stop it. But it is very nice that, when you read a good book, so you can just sit down. For me, I can sit down and then take a coffee and then read for hours. So I thought this pandemic will allow me some time to read the books that I have, because I like to buy books. And I am the type, conventional type, I like to read physical book rather than online. See, I buy a lot of books, and then especially prior to pandemic, I bought a lot of books. So every time book fair, I'll go to the buy and a lot of books, and then a lot of them are still not read. So I thought I had time to read, but when we are working from home, I have no time. Actually, our hours are extended. You don't really have the time, the luxury. And then book for me is also a companion, because I used to travel. So while waiting at the airport, while we are visiting, waiting for clients and all that, so book is something very convenient. I just take out the book and then I read a chapter or two. This is something that I can, for that short break of time, that I can release my mind, and then indulge in that book, in the storyline and all that. Okay, so that is something that I treasure. Okay, so I think the time is running, so I will pass the floor now to Julian. Okay.
Thank you, Caroline. Hi, everybody. I'm Julian. And my hobby is something of a mix between what Joseph does and Caroline does. Caroline is very indoor, buying books and reading. Joseph is very outdoor, exploratory. I have a hobby that is a mix of both. And my hobby is basically collecting coins. As you can see, I have a coin album over here. All right. And you have a lot of coins in it. I don't think you can see. Can you see now? Yeah, you can see some coins in it. So basically what happened is, I'll tell you a short story. What happened is 1976, my mother had gone on a visit to India. So my father took me and my sister and we went to Penang. And as I was going to meet my mother, who was coming in the ship back from India, those days they didn't fly, they used to take ships. So I remember I was walking past Beach Street in Penang, and I saw this Chinese vendor who was selling some coins by the side of the road. So I looked at my dad. My dad said, well, you can, if you want, I can just buy you a coin or two just for you to get an interest. And then I remember buying my first 2 coins, which are basically a 1 cent 1889 Queen Victoria. It was a straight settlement coin. I remember it was a big brown, orange coin. I was a brownish coin. It's not in very good condition. And that was the first coin that I bought way back in 1976. Then from then on, as I grew older, I became a very serious collector, maybe in the last 15 years. And what's interesting about coin collection is, actually, if you look at coins, there's a lot of different types of coins that you could possibly collect. You can talk about collecting of currency, like circulation coins that you have. Like in Malaysia, you have the Parliament series, you have the Bunga Raya series. You have a lot of commemorative coins. Some people hunt for commemorative coins, all right? Different shapes and sizes for different occasions. There are those also who like to collect investment grade coins, either silver coins or gold coins issued by mints of different countries. There are people who also like to collect very old historical coins like the Roman Empire and the Greek Empire, which you find in the ground, small coins, all right? Some are also found in shipwrecks in the sea and so on. So when I first started, I was a bit confused. Where should I start? So I started very simply. I started looking at coins in Malaysia only. I look at circulation coins. And basically with coins, the important thing is if you're looking at circulation related coins in the series, 2 important things that you could look at is key dates, the dates of the coins, right? So let's like to show you one coin that I have. This is a silver coin. This is basically what we call investment grade coin. And this is an example of collectible circulation coin, but this is actually not used in Malaysia. It's a German coin and it's a silver coin. All right, so these are big coins. So this is another area of my hobby, and coin collecting is a very satisfying hobby. It's very slow. You take your time and then you got to read, and you also need to have books. You need to have reference books like this. This is an example of a reference book, all right? Malaysia, Singapore, Brunei only. And you have catalogs that talk about prices, kind of coins that you have, and so on. So I won't go too deep into it. I think I'm already coming close to my end of my time. Thank you. And I will pass to the next speaker, Mr. Ong. Thank you.
Thank you, Julian. Yeah, I'm going to talk about my hobby. I find my hobby, which is gardening, very, very fruitful, very enjoyable, very relaxing, and very healthy. You know, after a hard day's work in the office, you need to relax. Okay, go to the garden, dig some soil, okay, put some fertilizers, climb out the fruit trees that I have, and you feel so relaxed. You forget about everything, all the stress in the work. During the weekends, spend some time outdoor in the garden, pull the grass. You see, there's so many things to do in your garden. So what I'm going to tell you today is I have many fruit trees that are planted in a small plot of land in front of my house. It's just about 12 feet by 30 feet. And I'm able to grow what? Jambu tree, avocado, the soursop, berry trees. And lately I planted a grape. Now it's fruiting, 10 bunches of fruit there. This will be my maiden harvest. So talking about the vegetables, I have got chilies, I've got the bayam, I've got the pandan leaf, and I've got the sweet potato leaves. So I can harvest them anytime I want. You see, like today, just now I was taking dinner, I found the dishes not so nice. I don't tell my wife, not so nice. So I wanted something to whet my appetite. So I went out just to pluck a small chili padi mixed with a sauce, and I could enjoy my meal much better. Okay, so talking about the trees, I have one story to tell you about my amazing jambu tree. Jambu in Malay is what? In English is what? Is water apple. So what happened is like this. I was on the way back to Temerloh. Remember, that is 30 years ago. 30 years ago. So I stopped by a fruit stall, which was selling a lot of beautiful jambus hanging around and so beautiful. So I stopped by, couldn't resist a stop by, and I bought one kilo. I ate it. Wow, it was so sweet and succulent. You see? So I asked the fruit stall owner, hey, where can I get the seedling to plant my own jambu tree? You see, ada, belakang sini ada. So I chose one. I chose one, cost me 25 ringgit. So when I came back, I started to plant it. And I think within about 1 year, because it was bud grafted, within 1 year, it started to fruit. Wow, I felt so excited. You know, now, when I bought it, it was this size, my finger size. You know how big is my tree now? Can you guess? After 30 years, and still bearing fruit. It is this size. It's double my body size. It's grown so big. It's 30 years, amazing. So during the fruiting season, I could see the whole tree full of flowers, beautiful flowers, and the bees, they're flying, buzzing around. But of course, I didn't get stung by them. So after the flowering season, I got to clear up all the rubbish. It's very, the petals drop down, just like the cherry blossom in Japan. So then I waited. I must remember to wrap it at the right time. So if I wrap it too early, the plastic bag, the fruit will drop down. You see, if I wrap it too late, then the fruit fly, the naughty fruit flies, will lay eggs inside. So even if I wrap it, the fruit will be rotten at the end of the day, no matter how beautiful it is. But normally, fruit tree, the fruits, when it is it's got eggs inside and the worms inside, it will look very pinkish. It's not reddish, you see. So this fruit tree has given me a lot of good harvest. It's a year-round harvest. Before you could finish the harvesting, there you can see fresh new flowers coming out. You see, so that is my wonderful jambu tree, the biggest tree in my garden, twice my body size now. Okay, the other tree, which I also like, I planted it 3 years ago. At first, it didn't start to fruit. I got fed up, almost wanted to cut it off, chop it off. But then, luckily, maybe the tree heard my threat to cut it off. So it started to fruit, bear flower first, and started to fruit. So last month, I managed to harvest my maiden harvest. The guava, the soursop was this size. It weighed 2 kilos. So that was so juicy and fully organic, no chemicals, no nothing. Because in my garden, I have this compost bin. So compost bin, I will put all the rubbish, not rubbish, all the fruit peelings, the unwanted vegetables, and wait for it to ferment, compost, and I use the compost for my fertilizer. So healthy. Those vegetables and fruits, they are pure organic. You can never get it anywhere. Even though outside they say it's organic, you will know whether it's organic or not. So come to my house where my jambu tree fruits a lot, then you can have sampling of all my fruit tree and my jambus up there. You can even climb up and pluck to your heart's content. Wait for the fruiting season first. Okay, that's all about. I got many other fruit trees, but in the interest of time, I think I have to start my talk on the other trees, fruit trees, like grape trees, mulberry. So wonderful. So the hobby for me is very interesting, very relaxing, and most of all, very fruitful. A lot of fruits coming down. Thank you. Now I pass it on to Rany.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ong, for your hobby and for your invite to come and taste your fruits. We will all try and make it to go to your place one day. I'm quickly going to introduce to you. I'm Rany. I'm married with 3 children. My children are all grown. I have a married daughter and about to have a grandchild, so I'm actually a grandmother. Okay, my interest is very simple. I do a lot of reading. So I have actually passed on this interest to my children as well. What kind of books I read is, I don't read mystery, investigation. I read a lot of love story books. If you can see, I have some Jodi Picoult story here. So if you see Jodi Picoult, he writes a lot of love stories. And currently I'm reading this a series of unfortunate events, which was presented to me by German son-in-law. But sadly, during the MCO, I don't know why we can't find time to read. So in the past 1 year, I haven't touched any books. And when I read, sometimes I lose control. Cannot sleep. I read overnight. Sometimes when my husband is sleeping, I'll be having the reading small book stuck to my book, the light, stuck to the book, reading away, because I cannot stop myself. And I don't want to go straight to the last page, right? Apart from that, I have another hobby that I love doing is my jigsaw puzzles. I love doing 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles. And I am very selective on the kind of puzzles I buy because of my interest, which I'm very interested in towers. Maybe that's why my son is a civil engineer. My last son, he's a civil engineer. He's also very interested in architectures. So I love towers. Wherever I travel, I've been to most of the towers like Macau Tower, Tokyo Tower. I've been to Eiffel Tower, multiple towers, even in KL Tower, the Twin Tower, name the towers, wherever we are, I will go to the towers. So I do this kind of puzzles. This is a 1,000-piece puzzle, which is presented to me, my second son-in-law. This is the Dubai Tower. I haven't found a time. This was my last year's Christmas present. I haven't had time to open and do it, which I'll be doing it. Again, I'll be losing control. Cannot take my hands off it. I'll be some days no cooking because of doing puzzles. Because sometimes the interest, right? You cannot stop. You cannot stop. That's one, I think one of my weakness. We must learn to control ourselves to stop when it needs to be stopped. But sometimes you just can't do, right? So this is my main indoor interest that I love doing. I love reading, and I think we have shelves and cupboards of books because I have all my 3 children who loves reading books. You know, when they were young, I used to have this Enid Blyton books, a series of it. They have numbers, right? So I also have my retirement plan. Once my children are already moving out one by one, so I have spare rooms to convert it into an interest room, hobby room, maybe a nice library with all my frames. So at least when my grandchildren come in, they can also cultivate the same hobbies like reading, having some own space kind of thing. So on and above these puzzles, I also do a lot of 3D puzzles. Now you have the wooden puzzle, the 3D puzzles. These are all, and my family, my children, my son-in-laws, they know my hobbies. These are the things they keep on buying for me. And as I do, I don't have place to park them. I don't have walls to hang them anymore. And you know, the 1,000 piece is very big. So I actually give it away. You go and hang in your place. You go and hang in your place. I give it away. So yeah, these are some of the small things, and I have actually have some plans for after retirement to build a interest room or a hobby room to carry on these hobbies. With that, I'm going to pass on to Mr. Pooba to share his hobby and wrap up the session for us today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Rany. And very interesting to hear your experiences and your hobby, and also the presentation by our other members of this group. So it's my time to share with you what I like to do in my free time. It's actually cooking, especially during the recent ongoing pandemic and restriction and working from home. It has given me the opportunity to practice my culinary skills. So I've been spending a lot of time doing various meals. Besides the regular Indian curries, I've also done Chinese noodles, I've done the Malay nasi lemak, and so on. And what I do is, I try to allocate certain days of the week to do my cooking, and it's all in my little notebook here. So it's all here, you can go through, it's all listed down. What a menu for what day, so that there's no clash in the kitchen. And then you have a fantastic opportunity to try out this, whether it's curries or noodles or whatever. And I take the effort to go through the entire preparation, like the details, like getting the material from the market, maybe the curry leaves from the nearby plant. Of course, if I get it from the market, fine. Otherwise, I get it from the garden, which is in my apartment downstairs. Then I put it all together with the spices sometimes with whatever soya sauce, put it together and do the preparation. So far, it's been well prepared. And what I normally do is I will also take photographs of it. So since you guys are all my buddies now, I'm going to share with you all the photographs after this recording, the photographs of my cooking. Then you will see the quality of the work. I'm not sure whether you can taste the standard of the work. But it has been, I have received some good feedback from my friends and relatives who had dropped in to enjoy my meals from time to time. Besides these regular meals, I've also tried some other things like dessert. I've gone for the caramel custard preparation and some ice cream with some mixtures and with biscuits. So these are some of the other things I've also done. Overall, I think I just try to keep myself occupied and be active in this. I've also posted a few shots of my cooking on LinkedIn as part of my activities. I got a bit of encouragement when I saw the former CEO of one of the insurance companies in Sri Lanka. He actually put a video showing his efforts cutting onions, preparing a meal. When he did that, I had some more courage to do my own posting, showing my cooking skills. So with that, I want to just share with you my little hobby, which is cooking, and I hope someday I'll invite you all for a meal. With that, thank you very much to all the participants in this group 4, and hope this recording meets the approval of the organizers. Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you.